Hello, good morning, good evening, everyone, all of you intrepid members of APTOS. It's another Move Monday. First, I'd like to list a couple of disclaimers. There are many things which are coming soon, some of which are covered in our FAQ. The only timelines that we can really answer right now is mainnet launch is coming in Q3. Incentivized testnets are going to start in Q2, which I guess we're in now. So those are coming soon. We're a delegated proof of stake network. Any questions around tokenomics, the ambassador program, the white paper, specific and detailed plans, all of that is coming soon. And that is the best I can do in terms of the answer for that. We have a community manager actually who is starting officially on Monday, which is super exciting. And when he joins, he'll be able to help us with leading a bunch of those programs. Yeah, you guys want to introduce yourselves again? Do you want to make that? Sure, okay. I'm Max. I'm one of the engineers here focusing on ecosystem.
I'm Tokun. I'm an engineer focusing on what needs to be focused.
Hi, I'm Avery. I'm the CTO.
I'm Bo. I'm an engineer.
David, unfocused software engineer.
Rusty, production engineer.
I'm Sherry. I run DevNet.
I'm Greg, software engineer.
Cool. And with that, you want to talk about the release update?
Cool. Yes, we had another release last Thursday. Thank you all for upgrading your nodes and then following through the runbooks and ask great questions. As again, we have a couple of changes like major coming in the last release. There's address format changes. Our address are changing from 16 bytes to 32. So whatever new old format peer IDs or identity keys you generated, you will have to regenerate all of them again because the format changes. And you might have to recompile the code yourself if you're running the Rust yourself from the binary side. Because it is a breaking change, so if you run on the old binary, things might not work and you will see all kinds of errors. So please upgrade following through our documentations and let us know if you run into any issues following the documentation. We'll keep improving them, but obviously we welcome contribution too. So if you find an issue, feel free to create an issue on our GitHub. Or better, submit a PR for the changes. We really welcome our community contribution. And we have a really new shiny new NFT module and tutorial coming with this release. I hope all of you had a chance to try out the tutorial and create your first NFT. There's also a TypeScript SDK coming written by Max, so try it out. Max, do you want to say something?
Sure. Yeah, it's published. It's on NPM. You can do yarn add APTOS or yarn or NPM install APTOS. Try it out. Releases are going to be relatively frequent, and if there's something you want to see, please let us know, or preferably open a PR. We'd love to see more community contribution.
Awesome. And we will have a new release coming this week too. Again, please follow our DevNet release channel. All the major release features, things we wanted to call out will be posted in that channel. And please follow the DevNet, Dev Node Ops channel for any node questions. We'll have more features coming, like StateSync V2s or parallel executions, lots of new exciting features. So stay tuned.
Also an indexer.
Yes.
So that's coming hopefully this week, and there will be probably after the release, maybe by Friday, but there will also be updates to the Explorer to be able to filter and see incoming and outgoing count transactions and all those fun things many of you have been asking for over the past couple of weeks. So, if you're here and you have experience working with Move, if you have questions, if you want to talk about some of the projects you're building, this is definitely the time. You can raise your hand. We'll invite you on up. I do want to have a shout out to the node tester written by Jason Zhang. It's nodex.run. These are community projects. These are not owned or related to APTOS, but they're just very, very cool. Jason Zhang's node tester was one of the first out there, and many people have used it and found it very useful to verify that their node is correct. and everything is set up correctly. And then Serhiy Pimenov has a node tester visualizer running at nodetools.net. It's gorgeous. The visualizations are fantastic. And we're super excited to see community projects coming here. So I guess now we can open it up to questions.
Should I start reading them off here?
Yeah.
Let's go to the questions in the thread first.
Yes.
And we can invite people to the stage.
When is it possible to test out the validator functions?
You can test it out right now. We have options for folks to run local testnet. So if you wanted to experience how to run a validator node for now, you can spin up your own local test. There is one tutorial we have on the same APTOS.dev website. So try it out and let us know.
Mm-hmm. Where can I find the official docs of Move? Each layer 1 has each version of.
I think we are using the vanilla moves. So like if you just get to the move books, that should describe what we have. And if we have modification on that, we will release our own documentation.
Yeah, sometime within the next week or two, we'll have the APTOS official documentation for our platform.
And any aptos.dev is a great place to start. We link out to Move resources, and we have a couple of tutorials for building on our network as well. How are we proved as a participant of Incentivized Testnet? That will be coming next, soon. Is it possible to run the node from a smartphone? No. That's not entirely true. Yes, a validator node is a little difficult, but it's possible to do light node, or at least have a verifying client in the future running from your smartphone that talks to a larger node, but still gives you the cryptographic verification that what you're seeing is correct.
And if you just want to have fun, you can always run from your phone, but it's not something that we would recommend unless you really enjoy really hot devices that don't last for very long.
Yeah. If you do get it running, if you can compile it for your device and you do get it running, that would be really cool to see. But it is not a officially supported platform for our nodes.
Some people got it running on Raspberry Pis, it looks like, but
That's close.
yeah. Close.
So theoretically doable. Let's see. Is it easy to transfer applications from Ethereum? Yes and no. A lot of people, Magnum can speak to this. A lot of people have had a really surprisingly good time using Move from their perspective, especially coming from a lot of other chains that, it's very easy to create insecure contracts in Ethereum. Solana has its whole thing around serialization and deserialization, which is kind of painful. I suggest you try it out. It's a different platform, of course, different language, different tool set, but I think it'll surprise you too.
I think one of the big differences to contemplate is in Ethereum, it's the smart contract that keeps track of things. So for instance, the map, you know about a token ID, and that token ID will tell you who the owner is. Whereas in Move, it's the owner, the user owns the asset, and so it's not so easy to go say, here's a token ID, tell me the owner, but instead you can go to the owner and say, what token IDs does the owner have? Just to give an example of like an NFT type of application.
Excited to hear about future activities, especially Ambassador Program. It's coming soon. Will there be one? Yes. Also coming soon.
Again, our community manager starts next Monday,
Yes.
like April 11th. So hopefully he will be definitely driving all those things in super fast pace and then announce something soon.
Are there any benefits for running a node now? So
For sure, I guess you get familiar with the softwares and all the operations, know how to upgrade, and then generally how to maintain a node. But other than that, we don't have any incentivized right now for running a node. But obviously, you're tremendously helpful for us to know like your experience, help us expose any problems or issues or potential vulnerabilities of our network. So it is a great contribution to help us like test the functionalities, test running the nodes as a network and all that stuff. So it's been helpful to help us improve the software. Thank you all for helping us run the node.
yeah, what is the planned incentive phase of testnet. So we will have a incentivized testnet that is coming soon, and criteria for who can participate and how will be coming then as well. Marketing. Do you plan to introduce additional events, competitions, etc.? Yes. There will be hackathons that are coming. Incentivized testnet. Around that time, probably we'll have some more information. We actually can start creating Gitcoin as well. So look forward over the coming weeks to bounties or various things that we would love to help to have your help with developing across a bunch of different domains. And also, thank you for developing the emoji pack. We don't always get to see everything people do, but if you ping me, there is indeed a chance that one of us can go through and add it. We definitely love checking into the memes channel and seeing everything you guys are creating. We spend a lot of time laughing at it. Yes, and we have, as you can see, our wall is less empty this time. We put up the logo, and around it are a small sampling of the wonderful memes that you guys have been creating. So thank you. We definitely appreciate our community, and we definitely want to make sure that the community gets recognized for the amazing contributions that all of you have been making. In terms of translating articles and Medium accounts, please feel free to create them, to do translations, as long as you make it clear that it's not an official, not an official APTOS account. We absolutely welcome and appreciate that kind of contribution as well. No OG APTOS testnet node operator NFT drop. I can neither confirm nor deny that there may or may not be something in the future. It sounds cool. Yeah. More information coming soon, I guess. This question.
We can invite some folks to the stage.
Yes. Is it possible to run a node from your smartphone?
Oh, actually.
Theoretically, CC, it is theoretically
There's some questions
possible
in the actual channel itself.
Yeah, not in the thread channel.
Okay, let me pull that
That's a
up.
good question for Zakun.
Yeah, I was writing a response to that one. The one with BFT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to read out?
I think I would definitely want to write a stronger response, but we can at least answer the questions. The question was around, using hot stuff and who kind of worked on it. So that original paper was from Ted and Dahlia in close collaboration with this team. We've been definitely working on the protocol for a while and making some significant improvements to it. If you take a look at our paper on the fourth iteration of that, you can see that there are kind of two major things that are there. One is that we can commit blocks in 2 steps instead of 3. We also have an on-chain leader reputation system to help improve performance for crashing leaders, which definitely helps in these kind of Byzantine environments. You can take a look at the code of course as well. This is our 4th generation of the consensus protocol that we deployed, tested for many years. You can also take a look at, if you look at the blog post we have for the APTOS vision, it talks about all the next generation research we have for the next version of the consensus protocol, mainly around DAG-based thinking, Bullshark, Narwhal, and Tusk, and the other protocols that our researchers have been developing over the years. We will have more information about the future of our consensus protocol in our white paper that will be coming soon, as we like to say, and definitely happy to answer more questions about that and give a more detailed response in the thread.
Cool. Let's see. Open a hackathon. That is coming soon. I'm sorry. I think we can invite people up. I don't know if there's any questions in.
Do you look at the ones in Move Mondays?
Yes.
Those are.
Okay.
I have a node with an inbound value of 0. I have yet set the contribution. Inbound value 0 is fine. That just means you are connecting to your upstream peers, and there's no other nodes connecting to you. If you want, you can advertise your address in the node advertise full node channel, so that other can use your node as an upstream. They can connect in through you, but it's not required. It's optional for now. There's no incentivize for people to have many inbound connection. If you like to do that, and if you like to see help others to stay synchronized to the chain. You're welcome to announce the node, but yeah, with the new identity change, please make sure you generate the identity, the format of the peer IDs, address and everything changed to 32 bytes. So make sure you have the new format before you're advertising that channel.
Cool.
Using Twitch questions, it's like.
Yes.
Let's invite some folks to the stage from the...
You guys look really smart. Thank you.
Let's answer these real quick and then we'll invite someone to the stage.
Why did we choose the name APTOS for the project?
APTOS.
APTOS, sorry. Why did we choose the name APTOS? English is not my first language. Why did we choose APTOS for the project?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think we chose it because it represents the people in Olone, and we thought that was the mission that we were out to accomplish with respect to bringing decentralized assets to everyone across the world and helping to solve problems of social inequality and things and access of that nature. It also kind of pays homage to the fact that a lot of this technology was born here in the Bay Area, and APTOS is a beautiful seaside town just a little bit south of here, with great barbecue, by the way. So those are the main reasons.
Is there a hardware spec? And is there a hardware spec for incentivized testnet?
We do have a hardware spec published on the tutorial for running a full node. It's in the requirements section. Right now, for development, I think 2 cores with 4 gigabytes of memory was more than enough for you to run your full nodes. For production one, like in the incentivized testnet, we probably will need to reevaluate. Right now, we put the recommendation as 4 cores and 8 gigs memory. We will let everybody know if we have any revised version of that, as we're still doing lots of development, implementing new features and tuning our performance for the network. So yeah, we will post it on our website.
Cool. Technical details, white paper, performance, all of that is coming soon. Cool. So I think we can now, I think we've answered all these questions, we can go and take some from the audience. You wanna? Cool.
Hi, Paul 69.
I think you're muted, Paul. Well, while Paul figures that out, thank you. The resolution on the screen is tiny. Yeah, we can get the next one. Gleb has no response. Okay. Well, if there's anyone else that wants to talk about their own projects, the things that they're building, this would also be a great time to share those, if you so desire.
Let's check if anyone else has any questions.
Yeah, we've got a few more questions.
Then let's go to the next one. Raise the hand.
Black label expert.
Okay, you're up.
Black Label Expat, you are up. You're also muted.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, hello.
How's it going?
Good,
I've
how
been
you doing?
good. I've been keeping up on your community and what you guys are doing, and it seems pretty cool. But I have a question about the token, and I'm sure you guys are still working on it, still in development and whatnot. But my question is that what are you guys planning to do to, or what do you guys have on the whiteboard to incentivize investors to invest and to discourage dumping of the token?
A good question. In general, we're going to aim for a very fair and decentralized token launch across the board. Details are to come, obviously, but a lot of that has to do with trying to solve some of the problems of confusion around tokenomics in general, having different kinds of vesting and lock periods. Our goal is to really have very straightforward, transparent, and fair discussion around tokenomics. And so that's why some of the details would take a while to figure out. But in general, that's our philosophy, to really create true decentralization throughout the network as well as its token.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have more details coming as time progresses with the specifics, obviously. But just
Right,
you know,
right.
that's our plan. Yeah.
And did you guys say like when or what quarter you guys were thinking about launching the token?
Yeah. So the token will be launched together with mainnet in Q3.
Q3? All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for me. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. Next up, we have Pashkat. Hello.
Hello. I have two questions. Question number one: how can I test the network
In
right
what way?
now?
What kinds of tests you're having in mind? We have like multiple ways for you to test our network right now. For the first, you can go through our tutorials, try to submit a transaction, try to write a move contract, try to even create your first NFTs. So right now, DevNet is open for public to testing. So we have a faucet. You can even request some coins, do some write some code and try to interact with our network. And another way, which lots of people are doing right now, is you can also try to run a full node to synchronize to a DevNet and see all the transactions happening on the DevNet, see all the versions and see the TPS, all the data happening on DevNet. So there's multiple ways you can already interact with DevNet.
Okay. Did I understand correctly what the documentation has all the necessary information?
Yes, please visit our aptos.dev, the website. So we have tutorials, documentations there. You can have you can start from there.
There's a getting started link. That's where I would begin.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Pashkat.
Okay. And okay. One question last. Can I make instruction videos?
Yes, please do.
Oh, okay. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. We have Paul69. Hello. Welcome back.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Cool, great. Nice to hear you.
Likewise.
First of all, I would like to thank the team that what you create, and I really like your idea. I have been with you since 15 March, and I monitor all the updates, all information about the project in different groups, in Medium and website, in Discord also. And I really touch that team are very active with the community. Also, I like it very. I like it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been trying. It's been a lot, but we really like being kind of the community as well.
I think it is cool because it can be your main power between different startups. And also a couple of days I talked with Greg on the topic that there are many external guides on launch and development and net, and incentivized test with different links, custom links for developments. A good example can be not tested by, produced by Jensen Tank. And many users believe that this was the development of the team. To tell the truth, and I also thought so in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit confusing. We definitely want anyone who uses Aptos or is making a tutorial to make it clear that it's not an official tutorial. We are also working, we will have our own demo example wallet to show people how to integrate with our libraries, how to do signing and things like that, like Web3.js version for Aptos. So going forward, we do want to build some of these toolings out. But I highly recommend that you take a look. Anyone who's unsure about whether or not it's something that Aptos made or not, there's only 2 domains that we're on, aptoslabs.com and aptos.dev. Anything else is probably from the community, unless we add it to our dev resources.
I absolutely agree with you. We also mentioned this information, and also thank you that you are responding for this so quickly. Just today we have information about this, and my next question, or maybe not question, I would like also that the team think about the topic. All the personal developments can leak users to data information or attempts to access to data or hack attack. I hope it won't. How does the team can react on this or protect yourself? What do you think about this?
Protect yourself from scams and outdated information from tourists?
Yes, that it's possible can provide to leak information, private information, personal information.
But I think the easiest thing is we don't have the private or personal information of any of our users. We're planning on launching a decentralized network. For incentivized testnets, we're still working through what our legal requirements will be. And so we're not interested in capturing personal information. And so I think that the easiest way to defend against it for us is just we don't need it, and so we won't have it.
I guess
okay,
we keep suggesting all of our community members, please try just disable your DMs from the server so that the scammers won't be able to send messages to you, and don't fall for any pre-sale, any of those websites like the tokens are all fake. Any announcement we make will be on our official website or on our announcement official channel. Please, please don't fall for any of those messages you directly or on Telegram channels or on anywhere to say they have a token sale.
We will never engage in that type of practice. Everything will be made public. We won't do peer-to-peer messaging or try to ask for any of your sensitive information.
And it will be way ahead of time. It's not going to be sales tomorrow. It's going to be well ahead of time, well publicized. It will be very much, it will not involve Ethereum. So if anyone tries to sell you any tokens via Ethereum, it's 100% a scam. We're in L1, it doesn't make sense at all. So please don't send people your Ethereum.
Okay, thanks. The next question, what are you working right now, and what problems or difficulties do you have right now? Yeah.
I can talk a little bit about what I'm working on right now. I don't know if we want to go around. So I'm working on ecosystem in general. One of the things that I'm working on is, we launched the TypeScript SDK, and I'm working on indexing. We want to be able to have people set up infrastructure for monitoring what's going on in the network, for being able to better introspect their transactions and the transactions on the network. So that's kind of, and enhancing the Explorer UI. So that's kind of what I'm working on this week. I don't know if anyone else wants to.
You can take up for most of the team. Like a lot of our tech stack
Yes,
came
yes, of course.
a lot of tech from the VM payment network, and so it's very focused on a permissioned proof of authority based network, and that's not the model that we're building in APTOS. And so, for instance, we've got efforts to build out our staking frameworks, the CLIs and the tooling to interact with APTOS are also rapidly being built out. We're improving the underlying Move modules and frameworks to support better scalability, which implies not just at the Move layer, but all the way down to the storage layer. And we're also just better engaging with the ecosystem so that folks can actually deploy, run, and manage their own resources in a way that makes sense from that perspective. And so there's a lot of different things going on. You can actually watch the Git history just to see what is going on, and that's a good indication of where we're going next. And there's also a lot of GitHub issues. The team is very good at making those issues as we identify gaps in some of our planning there. And we will actually be launching out a clear vision of what we need to do to get to both incentivized testnets as well as mainnet in the near future.
But if you do want to hop on and take one of these Git issues, we very much welcome you do so. Please do. And Gitcoin is also coming to help incentivize some of those developments as well.
Thanks. And also, my next question will be, in what aspects of development and can community members will help you? You just also mentioned this, and can you repeat again, please?
Well, I mean, I would just look at, we have the GitHub issues, which is, a lot of those are executed on work, but also just looking around the code, trying to solve problems is a great way to kind of find out opportunities to contribute. I think we've had 3 or more individuals outside of our organization make contributions, and that's simply by going through the tutorials or having a specific use case that they had in mind and saying, hey, this is missing, I'd like to go and add that. And so that's kind of the mindset that I would take there, and just saying, hey, and if you're actually saying, well, there's more here, or I'm actually looking for something specific and I'd like to get engaged, feel free to announce this in, what is it, the dev?
Yeah, the dev channel.
And we'd be happy to identify some additional startup tests depending on the interest that you have.
Okay, thanks. And the final questions. I think I have a request to the team, or maybe a question. Do you need to create a channel where people can unite to create content, or create some application on the based on the Move language?
Yeah, I think a Move channel might make sense. Cool.
And also maybe some channel with with name. I'm looking help. Please, somebody help me. I think it will be useful for ecosystem and will help to create. Will help to create ecosystem.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care. Next up, we have Pavan.
Yeah, hey
Hello.
guys. How are you guys doing?
Good. What can we answer for you?
Yep. So I was actually looking for the SDKs in the GitHub, but the only option I was able to see was in the Rust. But yes, I'm able to find a Node.js based in the NPM repository now. So although the documentation is very basic on that, so we were just looking forward to build something on the data visualization side, maybe a basic block explorer for the time being, so that all the node runners or the validators, they are able to check the status and what sort of transactions are being handled by their nodes. So I was just looking for SDK in Node.js or Python. I found one in Node.js, and I'll be referring to it for now.
Yeah.
Explorers, we have our tutorials. The first transaction tutorial actually shows beginnings of SDKs for Python as well as Rust, independent of like trying to use the existing APTOS core as a whole SDK for Rust.
So I'm able to see that now. I'll refer to that only. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Pawan.
With that being said, we do anticipate releasing more and more SDKs over time. The team is just a pretty lean team, and that, going back to the previous question about opportunities, we would love to have community SDKs that if it's good quality, we wouldn't mind hosting it within inside of our repository as well.
Cool. Hello, Malot. You're on. There you go. You're unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What can we do for you?
Oh, okay. Hello, guys. I have no questions, but I have maybe I want to give you some compliment. Really interesting project because I've been here from March, and we guys. There are many people who are non-technical ones, but we want to contribute as well because we love ambassador programs, etc. And we want to say that for me personally, I'm really happy that you will have a community manager on next Monday. So thank you for that. I hope we will have more info about white paper, roadmap, something more detailed. Later, and wish you good luck. I really respect your strict deadlines that you start and say, okay, we're gonna have a mainnet in quarter 3 of 2022. That's really cool, and I wish you many good luck. So hope to contribute to you very well. It will be really a high competition, I see, for this project. So that's what I wanted to say.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Winston. Hello, Winston. What can we do for you?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi. I had a few more questions. Follow up on validator and full nodes. I think someone mentioned that by having a full node, you can see the transactions happening on the DevNet, and I wanted to know what's the best way to access those transactions. Like I have a full node running, but not really sure how to see that, if it's with Explorer or something else, and also whether that is the main contribution of running a full node right now. Is it allowing the network to be able to run these transactions, as well as what is the traffic that I'm seeing in the node itself? Is it transactions that are generated by you guys, the dev team, testing, or is it the community doing testing? Just kind of like get a big picture of where the ecosystem is and what's going through the full node.
Yeah, so today if you want to explore the data on your node, one way is using Explorer. I think the source code for that is public, so you can actually run that locally and point that to your own full node.
You can actually select it to point to your full node.
Awesome. In terms of what's actually running on there, for the most part, it's community-based activity on the blockchain. And so you'll see some of that happening inside of your Explorer. But what actually is unfortunately the dominating impact right now is effectively our blocks. So you'll see these block metadata transactions that are being committed at a regular basis. That's basically a commitment that consensus has completed and it's moving on to its next round. In terms of the contribution that it's making to us, one of the things that we're going to start rolling out in DevNet is actually putting a little bit of load on DevNet just to see how all the downstream services handle that type of load. And that's going to be an exposure into what will start happening as we move towards incentivized testing and eventually into mainnet. And so from our perspective, you're actually providing a lot of value to us because it's really hard to scale out to 10,000 plus nodes and understand how the ecosystem handles that type of impact. And from your perspective, what you're learning is what it takes to run a potentially production quality full node. And so like today, with the lower load that's on there, it's really easy to run these on cheap services. As we start putting a little bit more load on top of that, it may not scale up for a lot of these either cheap or free services where folks may be running their full nodes today. And as we actually start expecting to bring folks into the validator network, it's going to give you an exposure of what's actually required to support a full-time validator, which is going to be a much higher bar than running one of these full nodes.
We're already actually doing it. We send occasionally some load to our network. So I think I saw somebody in the chat actually notice like where sometimes our network moves a little faster. So that's probably us. We're sending some burst of load to the DevNet occasionally, and we're trying to probably make it more regularly running. So we will be generating load more regularly basis on our DevNet going forward.
And if you do notice any sort of quirks when we're doing that, we would love to get either feedback or even issues on GitHub stating, hey, I saw this behavior, it didn't match my expectations. Because that's what we're really looking for, so that we can harden our frameworks or just give better advice on making sure that you're running your nodes in a healthy, reasonable fashion.
Awesome.
But this is a community-based effort. Like we need to all come together to make this successful.
That's a lot more details than I was expecting. So thank you for such a detailed answer. I had another question about the validator. I think I heard someone said that there's a tutorial to do that, but it would be like running it locally, not really running a validator version that would be connecting to the DevNet right now. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Mostly because we're still trying to wipe our DevNet on a weekly basis. So have other folks running validator node will make this process much longer and painful for us at this stage while we're still very rapidly developing stuff and wiping the chains and bringing new breaking changes. But while we are progressing into incentivized testnet, that's when we're gonna invite people to run validator node on our network. So yeah, for now, if you wanted to experience running validator node, feel free to start your own local testnet.
I would also say like a lot of the instructions, events, instructions for the full node map very much to what you would expect to run a validator node. And so that's like setting up your own persistent identity, for instance.
Okay, and then in order to stand up my own validator, what else would I need to stand up as well along with that? Other explanations and tutorials for that?
Some major pieces for a local testnet is like you have a full validator node. Actually, even if you start only one validator node, that works too. You can spin up a network with only one validator node. And if you wanted to do some transactions or activities for your own local testnet, you can also try to spin up a faucet and then try to submit transactions against your the full nodes or REST APIs against your own local testnet. There's many things you could do with your local testnet. It depends on what kinds of things you wanted to test and what's the goal you're trying to achieve there.
The other thing we have that there's not documentation for, but we can make that public, is we have Terraform, Helm, and Kubernetes configurations for larger testnets. So you can actually run a multiple node testnet that would expose you to a lot of the underlying infrastructure. For instance, you can actually leverage a technology called Vault for your key management. And then you've got the distribution of the nodes, you've got Prometheus collecting metrics. And so there's just a lot of different services. So if you really want to explore it, jump into that Terraform folder and begin exploring there. And we can look into getting more documentation on what's exactly inside that folder in the coming weeks.
Cool. And I guess I'm trying to, and I'm very new to a lot of these concepts, so I apologize. But I'm trying to, I guess, grasp the concept of like standing up the local testnet. Is the local testnet composed just of a validator and some client code sending transactions to that validator? Or are there more components that I'm missing that should be stand up along with that to say, now I have a local testnet with a validator running?
Yeah, so that's what I was alluding to, the more complicated schemes, including the Terraform and Helm Kubernetes. So the local testnet that we have currently described on the website is purely just a development environment so that you have your own network for testing and deploying on. It only includes a validator and a faucet. And so that's not really going to expose you as much as if you want to run a validator, except to be able to poke around and see, here's all the data and bits and pieces that are kind of floating around. The greater lesson is going to be starting to embark down that Kubernetes path. But again, documentation will be forthcoming just because there's a lot of really interesting and meaty topics inside of that space.
Awesome. Well, I'd set up the full node running the Docker instructions. So honestly, it was so easy. That was a breeze. It worked insanely well. So that's why I want to get exposed to the validator side of things, because I didn't feel like I barely did anything setting up the full node, because it just worked very well. So kudos to you guys.
We need to you guys and send you guys more to work on.
Definitely more tests, but the goal for running testnets is that it should be not substantially harder than that. Obviously, when you do run a validator, you have to consider your identity on the validator, your identity perhaps in a wallet, how those are connected, what staking and delegating, all those pieces come together. But again, I believe that we'll have solutions that make it almost as easy as running a full node.
Awesome. But one last question is I know there's a roadmap items mentioned here as well as in the Medium blog, but I was just wondering if there's going to be a more kind of like detailed roadmap, and if that is coming with a white paper or anything else that it's coming out soon, or is that going to come down later?
All of these are coming relatively soon.
To give you an example, we actually have a meeting later today where we're going to talk about incentivized testnet. We've actually got an initial skeleton of the different things that we're expecting to do and when those things are expected to land. And so as soon as we're comfortable and confident that those pieces make sense and that timeline makes sense, we'll make it available for the community so you guys can give us feedback.
Okay, awesome. I was more wondering from the technical aspects of things, right? In terms of what's going to be happening for the next few months. But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
They're directly tied together.
Yep.
Great.
Also, for more details on the technical roadmap, hop on our GitHub. Like, our issues will be a great place to look at what are the things we're trying to solve and what kinds of stuff we're working on right now.
Yep.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we have PG.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hey, very excited to be here. Congrats on everything. I guess my question is more high level, but we've seen these layer 1 wars, and oftentimes it's not the best stack, the one that succeeds. So I was wondering, first of all, how do you position yourself among the L1 landscape, and also what's on your roadmap in terms of incentivizing developers in terms of grant programs, ecosystem funds? When would we expect an announcement on that side?
Yeah, I can take that one. I think while you might think of them as L1 wars, I think in many ways this is the Web3 space trying to figure out what the right way of blockchain should be built, what trade-offs are going to be made between different technologies, and it's a constantly evolving process. I think also the use cases we've seen have changed a lot over the years. NFTs obviously became very big last year. This year, maybe DAOs are going to be the big thing, and maybe we'll continue to grow. Maybe gaming will be huge. I think it's hard for us to predict exactly those things, and those things kind of inform and guide the trade-offs people make in this space. So, I think our goal is to really just be very user-driven, and be very decentralized. The things we kind of come and distinguish ourselves with, I think, are just being extremely reliable and safe from day one. We've been building this tech for a long time. We know how it operates. We've operated in very much a mainnet-like environment. And then from the next thing, of course, is performance. That's obvious at this point. We've got a lot of novel things we've done with respect to our consensus protocol, the way we split consensus execution, and the way we can parallelize transactions in a very scalable way. For those, you probably can read our blog post and look at the technical papers on those. And the third thing is just really being, kind of mentions the first thing I talked about, which is being adaptable. Given that technology can change a lot over the years, we want to make sure that we are positioning our chain in a way that can adjust to these new use cases as well as new technology that comes out in the space. We're very lucky to be kind of in the early phases of Web3. I think a lot of us we're probably we missed the Web2 kind of train, and it's just a very exciting time for everyone in this space to be able to kind of adapt to the new technology and new use cases coming forward. And that's our goal is to be a very generational technology that lasts throughout the years.
Nice, thanks for that. I guess quick follow up on that. So are you gonna be targeting mainly like existing like Web3 devs? Are you opening up to like Web2 devs? Also, like, are you gonna be like bootstrapping a native ecosystem versus like going after all the ETH projects?
Great question. So I think we're just a general L1 general purpose L1 blockchain. We're welcome to all kinds of use cases on top of it. We are going to be probably talking about some very exciting partnerships we have in the coming weeks with a bunch of different players that I think will help to also bootstrap the ecosystem in a meaningful way. So stay tuned for that.
All right. Last quick question. I'm wondering, what are you doing in terms of like fostering zero knowledge research overall, and also if you're looking at like like privacy preserving applications that use zero knowledge, and if you have any plans or any program for that.
Yeah, we're really excited about this technology. We have a couple of people that are experts in this space that work on our team. We don't have much to comment on our immediate plans here. It also is worth pointing out some interesting legislation from the EU that happened recently around that space that we need to kind of also take into account and consideration. But yeah, we're really excited about the technology, and we'll hopefully have something to share with our future plan.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
And good luck for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, APT-GET123.
Sorry for the funny username. Can you hear me? Yeah, I was actually trying to work on the NFT modules that were written on the APTOS.dev site. So I was able to create collections, but the tokens aren't really getting created. So I think the code doesn't work there. If you guys could take a look at it, would be super helpful.
Sure. I'd highly recommend you sharing the code that you're running in the dev channel or like a GitHub gist or something. We'd absolutely love to help you debug and understand where any issues may be. But it's going to be a little difficult, I think, to do that via this Discord call. But we would, absolutely love to help you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Kellas313.
Hi guys.
Hello. What can we do for you?
So I'm just joining to our APTOS family week.
Welcome.
It's a really great project, great community. So I just want to understand a couple things. As I understand, as much of nodes we have, our network will be more faster, secured, and etc. So it's correct, yes?
The more nodes we have, the more secure. Is that your question? Right?
Yes.
It is like the more nodes we have, the harder it is to attack our network. So it is correct.
Okay.
So distribution of the stake.
What I want to understand, when we will start to incentivize a test, have we any limitation about how much nodes can build up one person? I mean, one person, just one node, do any QAC, something like this?
Sure. Yeah, so the model that we'll be using is delegated proof of stake. And so there is not necessarily an incentive for running 100 nodes, yourself in this case, because your voting is proportional to the amount of stake that people delegate to yourself. So instead of running 100 nodes, really the best thing that one could do in a system like this is to run maybe a few nodes, but to ensure that their uptime and their availability is as high as possible so that people trust that delegating to this node is going to result in making sure the node is always around to vote when it needs to.
Okay, it's clear. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, and I think this might be our last question, is Neil.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So will we have a wallet soon?
That is a great question. It depends on what you want the wallet for. So there are a couple of different teams that are actually working on wallets just in the ecosystem. I know that Magnum is already working on a wallet just for his startup, just so they can prototype against something. We super welcome any kind of community participation and proposals in terms of what a Wallet Connect protocol might look like Web3 to wallet communication. And otherwise, it's likely in the next 2 weeks that I will probably build a wallet that's very minimal, just to unblock people who are trying to do Web3 development. So think about like a Web3.js library, but for Aptos that communicates with our prototype Aptos wallet.
Okay, that's great. I also wanted to ask you about the ecosystem grants.
Those will be coming. Probably not in the next week, but they will be coming relatively soon. I don't know if Avery wants to.
Yeah, I think as part of our ambassador program, we're also looking in parallel. I think for the previous question around ecosystem funds and ecosystem grants, we unfortunately don't have any information to share at this time, but we are definitely investigating this and trying to find the best way possible to help us see the ecosystem with funding.
Okay, thank you guys.
Cool, thank you.
There's a couple more questions in the thread. And for 2 minutes to go through them.
Sure. I have so much trouble finding this thread every time.
It shows up for me because
Let's see. Any intern positions? Yes, for sure. Feel free to submit your resume through there or ping one of us. If you are a computer science student or potentially some of the other things that we have availabilities there on, we are absolutely interested in speaking to you as well. And if you are post being a CS student and you are a CS professional, and even if you're not a CS professional, I highly recommend you take a look at our careers page. We're hiring across a wide range of disciplines, and we would love to work with you.
Just to call it on the intern side, it looks like we don't currently have intern positions on our career site. So if you do want an internship position, choose one of those engineering roles and just make it very explicit that you are interested in an internship and not looking for a full-time position. And we'll make sure that it gets routed to the right place.
Let's see. Sorry, some of these are very good questions. I just want to go through and see if there's anything we can answer quickly. Let's see. The CLI to interact with the network. Soon, yes. So if you're doing Move development, there are CLIs for you to build Move modules and interact with them locally. Greg actually is working on improving that whole flow. So if you have any concerns, you can let us know in a GitHub issue or in the dev channel. I was about to say ping us. Please don't necessarily message us directly. A lot of us have DMs turned off. And most of the things that we get DM'd can definitely be mentioned in the public channels as well. A chat moderator, all of that is coming with our community manager. Oh, great, I'll answer. Cool. Is that good? There's a question of how difficult is it for you to work with the regulators, given that we are building the safest L1 blockchain?
I mean, our plan is to work with this community and launching this network, just to be very clear. And we will hope to launch, like I said, in Q3. We'll give money details far in advance with respect on how we do this launch together as a community.
Cool. It is noon. Thank you all very much for joining us on this Move Mondays. We will be doing another one at the same time next week. We look forward to seeing you there. If you have any other questions that weren't answered or anything else, please feel free to hit us up in the dev discussion channel. or any of the other channels we have in our Discord, please apply to our jobs. Check out our GitHub issues to contribute. And more details on all of your questions will be coming soon. Have a good week, everyone.